Hey everybody, and welcome to the first in a series of videos that we're calling Sitter Stuff. These will be games and activities that you can play with kids of all ages. On the docket for today, card games. Okay, the first game we're going to talk about today is commonly called garbage, or otherwise referred to as trash. The setup is pretty simple. 2 rows of 5 cards, everyone is dealt 10. The objective of the game is to replace each of these cards with a numerical value. Now these cards are yours, so starting on your upper left hand corner where you go ace, 2, 3 all the way down to 10. To start the game, the player to the left of the dealer pulls the top card off of the deck. Now we haven't started anything yet, so we know that the 6 is a good card for us, and we will replace it, and that's the objective, so that all 10 cards are face up in their numerical order. In this case, when we replace the 6 with this unknown card, we flip it over and find the 3. And play continues that way until you run out of cards. So if this card happens to be a 3, then I'm done. I discard it, and the next player gets to choose either that 3 or a card from the draw pile. In this case, however, I've stacked the deck a little bit to talk about some special cards. So the Queen is a draw again, so it's kind of a moot card for the hand that you have, but it does let you pull another card. Another specialty card is the King. And this is a wild card and can go anywhere in the deck or anywhere in your hand. So in this case, I replace it with a 10. And that King, then I just keep playing until I run out of options. So there's a 9. And then whenever I get to a hand, let's see, what do I have? 4 is in the right place. So in this case, I can place the King. I already have a 3. So I put it here. The next player goes. And then when it comes around to my draw again, I only have 4 cards to uncover to win. Now, the next player would draw off of here if they've already got their 3 covered. And this is the final specialty card. A Jack is a deal killer. If you get that, your turn is over and it goes to the next player. Play continues like this until somebody has all 10 cards uncovered and in order. When that happens, they've won the game. Now, other players can tie them on that because they get one final lap around the table, and if you are able to cover all of yours, you basically tie, and anybody who is able to uncover all of their cards removes the highest one from the next deal. This game is repetitious and will keep going until somebody is down to the final card, which should be an ace. And when you get to that ace card, then as soon as you cover that or fill that slot, then you've won the tournament. You can shorten the game by only dealing out 5 cards and playing 5 rounds until you have a final winner. And that's garbage, or otherwise known as trash. The next game we're going to look at today is called Steal the Bundles. The setup is pretty simple. All players are dealt 4 cards, and once that's accomplished, there are 4 additional cards added to the middle of the table. The first player to go has 2 choices. They can either use a card from their hand to match a card in the middle, or if they don't have one of these in their hand, then they discard and add it to the middle, and then the second player has those same 2 options with the addition of stealing any other player's matches, called bundles. So to start the game, I have a matching Queen, so I'm going to take that bundle. If the second player has a Queen, they can take my bundle. If they have a 4, 8, or 2, they can certainly take one of those. Now, if they don't have any of the cards showing on the table, they have to discard to the pile. Once a player uses up all of their dealt cards, the dealer simply replenishes them with 4 more. If all of these cards are taken and put into bundles, then again the dealer replaces them. Once all cards have either been dealt out or found their way into a bundle, the game is over, and the player with the most number of cards in their possession wins. Okay, the final game that we're going to play today is called Crazy Eights. It is an adaptation on Uno. To set up the game is pretty simple. If you have 2 players, then you deal 7 cards per player. And if you have 3 or 4 players, then the number drops down to 5. And we do that so that you have enough cards in the deck to kind of keep the game playing through. The objective of the game is to eliminate all the cards in your hand, and you do that by matching either the number or the suit. So in this case, we have more than either 3 or 4 people playing because I only have 5 cards in my hand, and so I'm going to match 10s, which changes the suit. And that's it. If you don't have a card to play, then you draw until you find one, and once you have one, then you can discard the same way that Uno is played. If you don't have an Uno deck around, this is a good substitute and very easy game for kids to pick up. Well, that's it for the first installment of Sitter Stuff. These are some games, again, that are pretty easy for grandparents, parents, babysitters. It doesn't really matter who's playing. As long as kids are involved, they're going to have a good time. Before I end the video, I wanted to talk about a couple other variations on these games. In terms of Crazy 8s, you can find a lot of variations in how you allow the players to steal bundles. For example, if you have a pair of cards in your hand, so 2 10s in your hand, and somebody else at the table has a pair of 10s in their bundle, will you allow the player to discard both of the 10s in their hand in order to steal that bundle, or are they forced to do it with only one of the cards? And that obviously means that they'll only get credit for the 3 in their bundle, and they won't get credit for the 1 in their hand. In addition, with the final game we looked at, Crazy 8s, if you've got an especially young child playing that game, you could certainly add the variation that either they specifically or everybody at the table can lay a red or a black card on top of a red or a black card. That really simplifies the game, and some of the older children might get a little frustrated with that rule, but it is an option. The nice thing about the really young kids is they don't care if you help them, so they'll gladly show you their hand just so that they're included in the game, so that's fun. And the final variation for Crazy 8s is, in Uno, when you're down to 1 card, you have to say Uno, or else you're penalized if another player sees that you have only 1 card in your hand but you didn't say it. Well, you could come up with all kinds of wacky and crazy rules for that. In this game, Crazy 8s, if you if you've got 1 card in your hand and you don't cluck like a chicken or yell your own name at the top of your lungs or whatever the rule is, then you have to draw 1 or 3 or 5 or 10 cards, whatever that penalty should be. I also forgot to mention we call it Crazy 8s because the 8 is crazy, and so if you don't have the number or the suit, then you can lay it down and pick whatever you'd like the rest of the play to finish as. So have fun playing, and we'll see you on the next video.